Checking mic because I didn't manage to check it before I went on the air because that's how it's going. Check, check, check. Okay, you can hear me, it looks like. So, hello, welcome to Talk Wrestling here on the Jeff Meacham Network, on the NoDQ.com YouTube channel, on the Great Cherry brand, and of course, the Castleton Studios here as we are every single Tuesday in simulcast form. You just watched NXT. If you did, cool. If you didn't, that's okay. We'll touch on it briefly. Hell of a main event between Walter and Roderick Strong, as I knew it would be, because those two guys are awesome. So again, thank you all for tuning in tonight. Thank you all for tuning in yesterday to the Jeff Meacham Show, as well as Open Mic Night. Huge success for me. I feel maybe not a whole lot of viewership, and I know that's where we gauge is views and ratings and whatnot, but I had a lot of fun doing that show. So I feel as though it was a success for me, for the network, for the brand, however you want to classify it. So come on back with us next Friday, a week from this Friday, for the next Open Mic Night here exclusively on the Jeff Meacham Network. Let me be clear on that. That's on my channel as well as Noah's channel and James's channel. So be on the lookout for that a week from Friday. All right. Lots to talk about in the wrestling world. And I know that you guys are used to Talk Wrestling being Ask Me Anything. That is now the Jeff Meacham Show, which is on Mondays. Let me make that clear now. But you can feel free to ask me anything you want about what I'm talking about. Let's jump into it. So what it looks like, the current AEW TNT champion, Cody Rhodes, who is a founder of the company, an EVP of the company, as we sit here now, is working out a contract. And that is just completely bonkers. That one of the cornerstones of the company is currently working, without a net pretty much. He's got no contract on him, according to reports. And again, take that for what it's worth, right? But if that's true, the rumors are starting to persist now that we may see Cody Rhodes at the Royal Rumble as a participant in the 30-man Royal Rumble matchup. Now, I did mention this, I think, either yesterday or when the reports first came out. I just don't see Cody participating in a WWE match. He was so disenchanted by his time with WWE that he made it a point to double down, go all in on himself, and not remain with the company. And he formed All Elite Wrestling with the Bucks, with Kenny, and with the backing of Tony Khan and his father. So I don't see him feeling the need to go back to the company that did him, in his mind, so wrong. So, but we'll see how it plays out. If I'm Cody Rhodes, I definitely explore my options, explore where the money is, where it could be, where it may be, and sign a contract elsewhere. I don't think WWE will honestly give him what he wants, which is creative and personal internal satisfaction within his career and his life, like AEW has, like the Turner networks have. So I don't see him being in a WWE match at all, let alone signing with the company. Honest question, is there a small chance Moxley shows up at the Rumble? Again, anything's possible with this Forbidden Door. We did talk about it yesterday that the Forbidden Door is not necessarily open to AEW. But with Moxley, returning apparently tomorrow night on Dynamite, which is awesome. I'm so glad Mox has gone through the treatment and got himself better. He very well could show up the Royal Rumble, and it would be cool to see him involved in some capacity with his Shield brethren. That'd be kind of cool to see on screen. Psycho Jet Black, did you hear that Walter had his name changed to Gunther Stark, which is the same name as a World War II soldier? I did read that report, and if you watched NXT just now, he mentioned the winner of the match is Gunther, which is the name you see there. So it very well could be that Walter is now going to go by this name that has been registered by NXT as his new ring name. Just crazy. Yes, says Who Day. Yeah, I'm here. There you go. Good to see you guys. Let me go ahead and close that. And let me do that. There we go. Darth Vapor says Cody's re-signing and it's part of storyline. Very well could be. It wouldn't surprise me. And M. Williams 21 says Cody ain't leaving AEW. There's an even slimmer chance Mox will return. Exactly. I'm not saying he'll be in WWE full time again, but the rumor persists that WWE was involved in the rehab payment. So or the rehab process. So maybe we will see him recoup that by participating in the Royal Rumble. Again, this Forbidden Door thing, and again, I talked about this yesterday. We are very much putting a little bit too much stock in it, I think. I honestly do believe that. So it's a wait and see with this Forbidden Door. We know Mickie James is in the match. We know they're bringing back the Bellas. We know they're bringing back Michelle McCool. Lita is apparently going to be majorly involved here between now and WrestleMania with this whole story with Charlotte. So I'm looking forward to seeing that play out. And Alexa Bliss is coming back as far as she's on Raw again. So we'll see if she's actually actively in the Rumble match or if she ends up doing something else. Matt says, Kofi Kingston in an interview said that he would like the New Day to face the Elite unless the New Day leaves WWE. That is never going to happen. I tend to agree. And I say that I agree with you, Psycho, because there was at least, I don't know if there still is. I haven't talked to Matt or Nick Jackson in a very long time, sadly. But at the time of the formation of AEW, there was so much amnesty, so much hostility, I should say, between the Bucks and Cody and the WWE, that while the Elite are indeed friends, outside of the companies with the New Day, working together will not be a thing unless one faction leaves the company they're with now and goes to the other side. I 100% agree with that. That will not happen. So good call there. All right. So moving on from Cody having no contract to Mustafa Ali, again, I'm going to butcher his name, Adil Alam, asking for her release from his contract within WWE. Apparently, he went on social media. I did actually get to see the post. He is actively asking for his release. Now, again, whether this is part of a grand storyline, whether this is a olive branch from the company to go, okay, here, get yourself some attention. We'll go ahead and let you do this, but we'll do everything we can to make sure you feel wanted. I don't know how much of this is, and again, in the internet age, it's very hard to tell how much is bullshit, how much is reality. We don't really know, right? So I would venture a guess that he is legitimately frustrated with his portrayal on screen. I would venture a guess that he's legitimately upset with how the redemption thing played out, with how Kofi got his push in the road to WrestleMania a couple years ago, back in 2019, actually. So it wouldn't surprise me if the gentleman definitely is legitimately frustrated with his run with the company. Wouldn't surprise me a bit. But at the same time, I got asked during open mic night last night, could I envision Mustafa Ali challenging for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship? And my answer last night was no. And what I meant by that, if you didn't catch open mic night, which again, check it out next Friday. We had fun. It was an enjoyable experience. I don't see that character challenging for the NWA Championship, just like I wouldn't have seen Trevor Murdoch back in 2003 challenging for the NWA Championship. I wouldn't have seen Zack Ryder as a championship contender for the NWA. I do see Matt Cardona as a championship contender, which he is right now. I do believe the credibility of Trevor Murdoch as NWA World Heavyweight Champion now. I believe in that. I wouldn't have believed, a lot of things a couple years ago, a few years ago, 10 years ago, whatever the case may be. So things can change. And if Adil leaves the WWE and, sits at 90 or 30, whatever it may be, or if he gets an immediate release, which would be nice, and ends up, doing his thing on the indies, why not? Let him go out there and show the independent wrestling world that he is more than WWE allowed him to be. I can believe him as a contender for Moose, for Murdoch, for Hangman Page, for any of these guys, for New Japan. Anybody, anything is possible if you, the famous quote from Back to the Future: if you put your mind to it, you can accomplish anything. I think Adil Alam has that capability of proving himself outside of WWE. It's just a matter of, will he do it or not? Walter said they dropped the ball with Ali being the hacker. Of course, the group, I would ask for my release as well. Definitely. They completely botched that entire process. They really did. They completely screwed it up. So, just so bad. So bad. And Psycho Jet Black says, do you think WWE will pull a Neville on him and have Mustafa Ali wait out the rest of his contract while he stays at home? I don't put anything past WWE as far as maximizing their profit margin and not allowing the people, whether they believe it or not, in competition with them not benefiting from their loss. And what I mean that is, if they can let Mustafa sit home and not sign with AEW, the NWA Impact, and diminish his value to that company once he is free of a contract, they'll do it. They've done it before. We've seen it happen. Like you mentioned Pac, and the same thing happened to him. So don't be surprised. M. Williams 21 says, do I see Johnny Gargano, showing up at AEW Beach Break? I would be very surprised if Johnny Gargano does not show up at AEW soon. He's got a lot of friends there. He's got a lot of people he works very well with there. You figure the Red Dragon, Adam Cole, the Elite, all those guys, they are all very much contemporaries of Johnny Gargano from the past. You talk about PWG, you talk about the other independent companies around the country and around the world. So it's not a matter of if Johnny Gargano signs AEW. It's definitely a matter of when, for my money, without question. All right, let's see. So they announced, I think it was over the weekend, that the Elimination Chamber premium live event, I'm not going to call it pay-per-view because that's not what it is anymore, is going to take place in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia coming up on February 19th. That is the next WWE premium live event presentation following the Royal Rumble. They have not announced one for March as of yet. We may get a Fastlane, we may get a something between the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and WrestleMania, but time will tell. But as far as the Chamber pay-per-view, I'm so trained. Premium live event, because it really makes more sense to call them PLEs because they're not pay-per-views anymore. We don't pay to view each one, especially if you are a subscriber on Peacock or if you're outside the United States on the WWE Network still. We don't pay per view anymore. We pay for the subscription now. So it's a totally different process. So but I am very surprised, number one, they didn't change the name with the move to Saudi Arabia, and they actually are going to have that construction, that match stipulation within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I'm curious to see how it's going to play out there, because it's a different world over there. It really is. So I don't know how. I mean, obviously the person, the king, the prince, or the crown prince, whatever the title is, and forgive me, I don't know the title, so I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be offended. I just don't know the title. I'm very ignorant on that. Apparently they asked for it, so if they want to see it, they're going to, coming up at Elimination Chamber. City by the Bay says, shout out to OG Jeff. Been watching your stuff since back when YouTube did that commercials. I appreciate that. It's a long time ago. YouTube does have a premium subscription, which is what I use when I'm surfing rather than streaming. So it's not that expensive, if I recall. I have a auto pay, so I really don't know how much it costs off the top of my head. But it's done me a world of good. I go back in the back with Dylan, and he refuses to use our account, so he's commercial. It's like, oh my god, I just want to get to what I'm watching. I want to go sit down. So it's more beneficial, and it's more of a thing for me to pay out whatever they ask and just like not deal with the commercials. That's why we have Hulu Live. That's why we have the ability to fast forward through live TV or rewind and pause, whatever. I just don't want to deal with commercials. I hate commercials with a passion, except the ones I run because I make money off those. Anyway, Secretary Buck says, which former Ring of Honor star has had the most success in WWE? If you look at the entirety of Ring of Honor's history and the stars that company made, the easy answers is CM Punk and Bryan Danielson. CM Punk was a product of Ring of Honor after briefly being with TNA, trained at Ring of Honor, became a trainer at Ring of Honor, signed his WWE contract on the Ring of Honor Championship belts, which was oh my god moment. And then you have Bryan, who was one of the early pillars of Ring of Honor, one of the first main success stories out of that company's formation in 2002. there is no denying the story of Brian Danielson from 2002 to now 2022. Both of those guys really hit pay dirt within WWE. Now, Punk will tell you that he was creatively restricted. He was, no doubt about it. He had to write his own, basically story during the Trade Society thing, and he had to literally, almost hold the company up for the Money in the Bank 2011 scenario to play out. So, could he have done more? Probably. But he was still a great success for the brief time he was the WWE champion and one of the faces of the company at that point. Nigel McGuinness is a stud still. He's a stud to this day. It's just unfortunate that he was unable to be an in-ring competitor in WWE because he was so good in Ring of Honor. He just got, he got hurt, and it sucks. It's a shame. It really is. But I liked his commentary style on NXT UK. I wish they would bring him back, but I understand why they don't, because they're trying to use, homegrown in-house talent. Good on them, I guess. They're trying to keep things reined in. I don't necessarily agree with it my own self as a fan, but as a business person, I get it. I totally get it why they do that. All right, where are we at here? So during the train wreck that was the Dallas Cowboys 49ers game the other night, it was shown that Bayley and Sheamus were both on the sidelines cheering on the Cowboys. And of course, WrestleMania is going to be there in a few weeks, a few months, actually a couple months. So, and what I noticed is I didn't see any crutches or any really mobility devices for Miss Bayley, which leads me to believe that we're going to see her sooner than we expected. Hopefully, maybe even by the Royal Rumble, which would be awesome. The women's division definitely needs Bayley back, like now. They're dying on the vine without quality talent, and Bayley is one of those quality talents. So Sasha Banks, who is injured right now. Let's see, Seth Rollins. I always forget Seth was in Ring of Honor, and that's a poor memory on me. Seth Rollins was Tyler Black, of course, from Ring of Honor, another one of the pillars of the company. Samoa Joe, I think, could have been much more in WWE than he was. Obviously, he was a big star in TNA Impact, though, so there's that. Rollins, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, all those guys went through Ring of Honor, but the two names that popped right top of my list, and now three if you count Rollins, Punk, and Danielson. My opinion of Pac is I love Pac. I got to meet him. God, when did I meet Pac? I want to say it was the 2007 Battle of Los Angeles at PWG. So, God, 15 years. Again, 2022 being 15 and 20 year anniversaries for a lot of things is just, it keeps, the number just keeps coming up every time. Great worker, great performer, a hell of a nice guy, at least back then. I don't know how much his personality has diverged from where he was then as far as off screen, but I love Pac. I wish they would have done a lot more with him in WWE, definitely. Hello, Carl. Hello, Marshall. Walter says, I feel WWE missed an opportunity to reunite the Hurt Business as a face group. I hate that Shelton and Cedric are reduced to what they are. You could have had a power group. What's your opinion? Yep, I agree. You remember, Shelton Benjamin was with the company starting 20 years ago this year. 2002 is when Paul Heyman introduced Team Angle to aid Kurt Angle, Charlie Haas, and Shelton Benjamin. Charlie recently attempted a comeback. He had a concussion and Impact. God bless Charlie. But Shelton has always been right there under that radar as, oh, that's right, he's still working. I forgot about that. Shelton Benjamin is one of the most gifted athletes I've ever seen on a wrestling program, be it TV, be it live event, be it pay-per-view, be it PLE, whatever you want to call it. He's one of the best pure athletes I've ever seen in a professional wrestling / sports entertainment ring. And the fact that he's reduced to this bit role as, I'm going to say it, Lashley's bitch is terrible. Absolutely terrible. And Cedric Alexander, I'm not familiar with his work prior to WWE. I didn't get to see a whole lot of Cedric, but he is an impressive young cruiserweight. Still got a lot of miles left in the tank for my money, and I think that he and Shelton both are getting a really, really raw deal. I miss Bayley and her biscuits. Yes, definitely. Patrick says, is Oscar Rumble bound? Would not surprise me. Would not surprise me in one bit. And City by the Bay, the OG fan says, no idea which direction WWE is going and who's winning the Rumble. Expect some BS. Very likely. Very likely. Psycho says, better wrestler, Ray Fenix or Penta? Ooh. That's a good question. I don't have a straight answer for you. I'll cop out and post that on the answer, but I don't have a straight answer for you, Psycho. I love both styles. They have similar style, obviously, because they're brothers in their team. Toss a coin. I know Penta has won a lot more singles recognition and championships, so I'll say Penta based on that. Would love it to be Riddle, but that one I don't want Riddle to be champion. I'm not a fan of Riddle, unfortunately, for Free City. I'm just not a fan of Matt's at all. Well, thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Make sure everybody gets a like in there. I also miss Shelton and Ain't No Stop Me. Yes, both the theme and the athlete, super underrated. City. If Shelton and Cedric were the same height as Bobby Lashley, all three would have been pushed instead of just Lashley. Yep, you got it. Right on the beam. Right on the nose. The Hurt Business could have been the Modern Evolution style group. I don't know if I'd go that far. And I say that only because I don't see Cedric Alexander, with all due respect to his athletic ability and accomplishments, I don't see him as a world champion. I don't. Shelton Benjamin could have been world champion in 2004. JJ would argue he can still be world champion. MVP's world championship days aspirations are long behind him. So evolution style, no, I don't agree with that. Maybe Horseman, because even though Barry ended up becoming a world champion later, Lex did, Sting did, of course. I don't see the Hurt Business all being world champions after the Hurt Business, if that makes any sense. The microphone is so small because it is a JCPenney purchase, and it's I just like the style of the microphone as opposed to the cumbersome cans, the headset. It bugs me, gives me headaches. That's why I'm using this. It's not that small. I just have big hands. So there you go. I try to hold a Bob Barker style, but then I end up, limp cord. Oops. Should we be terrified of the idea of Omos winning the Royal Rumble as it's his hometown? I don't know about terrified. I think it's a little early for him to get a Royal Rumble win style push, to be perfectly honest with you, Carl. But if they're going to push this guy to the moon like that, then a Rumble win would be a pretty easy way to fast track it, right? Penta is one of the most underrated wrestlers in AEW and super over. Yes, he is. Omos should win the Royal Rumble with a laugh from Marshall. City says Omos or Austin Theory, right? Now we're just cracking in the chat room. Shelton not short though. He's 6'2" or yeah. He's not short. He's just not, Brock Lesnar size or Bobby Lashley size. That's the problem with Shelton, unfortunately. Ray is better skill. Penta's better performer. There you go. I like that comparison. If I could bring back one release star, who would it be? God. Well, they fired 80 friggin' people last year. I don't mean to laugh, but they fired 84 friggin' people. Regal. There's no reason they should have fired one. And I know it's going to be like, what are the other guys that are actually working? William Regal is the best scout they've had ever. He's brought so many people to that company. Letting him get away was stupid, stupid by WWE. I said it and I mean it. All right, I'm going to take a quick break here, get myself a little agua because I'm getting a little parched. We'll come back after a brief, we'll go ahead and run an ad from Lex, our favorite baker. We'll be right back. I just saw this comment, so I'm going to see if I can do it here. I should have the microphone hanging like Mr. Kennedy. Well, there you go. Let's see if I can. See, the thing is, with this is a really dinky microphone, like Tim pointed out. However, if I really wanted to go put that thing. Hang on. There it is. I can hang this on the roof. I can really, Mr. Beecham. I can do that, right? There you go. All right. Yes, I'm marking out for myself. Don't mind me. Marshall says, better AEW wrestler, Kenny Omega or Adam Cole? Adam Cole's not even been there a year yet, y'all. So let's give Adam a chance to prove his AEW worth. I mean, Kenny's the easy answer because he's been the world champion. He's hurt right now, but Kenny was champion for a long time. So let's not get too ape shit. I predict that Gable Stevenson will debut at Survivor Series like he did with The Rock. I would be okay with that, Psycho, because that would mean he's had basically over a year of actual WWE conditioning training. That's fine by me. I'm cool with that. The green sheet back here is actually one of my old green screens. I'm actually just covering up junk boxes because that's personal stuff and we're moving. So there you go. Let's see. I'd really love to see AJ Styles win the Rumble, but it ain't happening. Don't sell Mr. Styles too short. The Rumble's where he made his debut in WWE, so don't be surprised. Let's see. I'm truly baffled on who's winning the Rumble. It's so bad, it's good. There you go. That's the whole point. I talked about this yesterday. I'll go ahead and remove that comment. The internet has been the single biggest contribution to our society and the single biggest detriment to the wrestling fandom. We know how the magic tricks work. We know all the secrets. The curtain's been pulled back, however you want to phrase it. I like the unpredictability of the Rumble this year because with these possible talent influxes, we literally have no idea what the hell's going to happen in 11 days. And I'm great with that. I'm so happy that's a thing because it's even the Rumble with its, countdown, you'll see a few surprises, right? But it is truly, for the first time in a long time, unpredictable. And I cannot wait to watch it, especially the match. Where do I see Mox fitting in when he returns tomorrow? What's next for Danielson? Possible feud since Moxley was possibly on his way to face Bryan in the World Title Tournament. Yeah, I think the easy fit, into the programming is to put Moxley with Danielson. Danielson's now challenged for the World Championship twice and lost. So I think it is a great idea to put him with Moxley. That way we get Moxley and Danielson, which is always good. And it would be even better now that they've got the WWE cuffs off of those guys. What's my favorite match ever at the Royal Rumble, not including the Rumble? Okay. My favorite non-Rumble match contest in Royal Rumble history is the ladder match in 2001 between Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit for the Intercontinental Championship. Unbelievable match. I also enjoyed the tag team tables match with the Dudleys and the Hardys. I enjoyed at the time The Rock versus Mankind for the WWF Championship. The I Quit match. Looking back, I don't enjoy it. It's over brutal. It's over barbaric. It's terrible. Adam Cole's the same way. Tim seems obsessed with the microphone size and what's in my background. I usually have my green screen on, which is why you guys don't see the background usually, but I'm in my studio and we took the screen I had up down because again, we're trying to move and I have a brand new pull down screen that we're installing at the other house. So that's why you don't see the fancy dancy backgrounds today. Psycho says, do you really use the fireplace? I thought so. You know what? We did use this one when this wasn't my room. So this was not originally my space in the house. I had a room down the hall when I moved into what became the Castine Studios 11 years. God, 11 years. Holy shit. 11 years ago. My mother turned my old room into her space. So when I moved back a couple years later, it was like, where are we going to put you? So they put me here. And I've been back here ever since. But we used the fireplace a couple times. We actually, up until we began the process of moving into the new house, we would use this fireplace as our Christmas stocking space. But we used the new house for that, obviously, this year, which is why we'll be back here during the holidays and do the shows. Who becomes the bigger star out of this bunch? MJF, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, or Wardlow? Man, MJF's already a star. He really is. WWE has interest in him. He's ready to start. WWE has interest in Wardlow. So I think it'd be easier to say who's the least likely to become a star, and I hate to crack on him because I like the guy, Darby. That's just a gut reaction right out the top of my head. Of those four guys, I think Darby's the least likely. I'm not trying to be negative Ninny or whatever, but Wardlow's is just a big, solid dude. He's just going to beat people up and break shit apart. Hello, my... Boop, boop, boop. If I'm not on, tell me, let me know now quickly, guys. MJF's already a star, and Sammy's one detriment may be his negative social media presence because of the whole thing with Ty Conti, but we'll see. Would love to sit on the bench with you participating in a 6-pack of Bud while listening to Radiohead Fake Plastic. Okay, wow. Sure. I'm not a Budweiser fan. If you've got Coors, or you know what, I'll tell you what. If you've got 805, you got yourself a drinking partner, buddy, as far as beer goes. Not a big beer guy anymore, but my sister introduced me to 805. That stuff is good. My prediction is either Roman or Brock lose their title at the Rumble, then enters the Rumble match to set up Roman versus Brock again. You know, they're talking now they're going to have both men retain, and it'll be a non-title match at WrestleMania, which I think is so stupid. If they're going to do it, this should be a championship match. Carl says, one superstar that should have won the Rumble but never did for me was Chris Jericho. 2012 would have been the year to pull that trigger. I agree with that. He definitely should have won it that year. Walter says, if you can change the outcome of any past match, what would it be? I'll cheat and pick two. I'll have Booker T being Triple H WrestleMania 19, which I also would have done, and Sting winning his WrestleMania match against Hunter. I would have done both of those too. I say this time and time again, and I will say it until they either put me in the ground or stick me in a fancy little container on the mantle behind me there. I would change Sting and Hogan at Starrcade. I wouldn't have Sting win. I wouldn't have Sting lose. I'd still have Sting become the champion. But I would have had the negative attitude behind his arrival and his appearance in the eyes of Eric Bischoff and Hollywood Hogan not be factored in behind the scenes. I would have executed the plan like I had it, where he becomes champion after a screwjob referee count by Nick Patrick. No controversy of it being a regular 3 count. No rematch on Nitro. No vacancy. No super... Blah, 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 blah. Sting becoming champion in that haphazard at best way is what was the downfall of the redemption of WCW and the demise of the NWO, which is why the NWO storyline dragged on and on for a whole other longer than it should have. And I would also go back and change the Hogan Nash thing. I would still have Hogan be champion. I would still have Nash, drop like he was shot. But, and again, that one couldn't be helped, the aftermath, because of the injuries to Hogan, Steiner, Luger, and I think even Scott Hall. So it was a train wreck from jump, but definitely Sting and Hogan at Starrcade. Bianca's my prediction to win the Rumble match. Wouldn't surprise me if she goes back to back at all. Virgil versus Big Show should main event AEW. Okay. Why do I keep doing that off? God damn, I keep turning the damn thing off. If you're talking about Virgil Runnels Jr., Dustin against Paul White, I'm okay with that. But Virgil, Mike Jones, no. Bad. With WWE breaking the forbidden door with allowing Impact and or AEW wrestlers to show up in the Rumble matches, would you have one of the forbidden door wrestlers win the men's Rumble? No. I don't want a person not working under contract to my company winning my match. No, I wouldn't do that. My favorite moment on No DQ. We'll actually get into that more in October because, as I said, this is my 20th anniversary with No DQ coming up in October. So we'll definitely get into all that. There are a lot of favorite memories. There's a lot of things that they're not on the channel anymore because they're so not PC. The entirety of XMB. But there's a lot of great memories in 20 years. So we'll definitely have to go over those as we get closer to October 25th. Thoughts on Corey Graves being cleared to wrestle now? Potential or not? I love that Graves cleared. I love Corey. Was heartbroken for him that he had to step away. And finding out in subsequent years that he trained with Greg Cherry. And he also had a match I wasn't aware of when he was Sterling James Keenan. I got it right, Greg. I'm proud of myself. Against Adam Pearce for the NWA Championship. So there's a lot left in the tank of Corey Graves if he's cleared to go. Looking forward to it. Thoughts on Vince changing Walter's name? We talked about that at the top of the show when NXT concluded. It's dumb. It's a bad PC look, but it's par for the course for NXT 2.0. I mean, that's the long and short of it. It's just, it's a stupid idea, but I ain't running the company. Thoughts on Walter? Again, we did that already. Is it true that Vince Russo tried to get O.J. Simpson to appear at Raw after his murder trial? If you listen to the Something to Wrestle With podcast with Bruce Pritchard and Conrad Thompson, it was mentioned that they were trying to get O.J. to appear at WrestleMania in 1996 when they couldn't work out how to make it work without coming off like a complete dinks, I guess. That's why they used the OJ footage with the Piper and Goldust backclap brawl. Matt Helms says, hello, Jeff. How you doing today? I never hit the like, but thank you, Matt. Doing good, brother. Doing good. Had a good day. We had a good Statboy Sports Bar earlier. Please check it out over on the Jeff Meacher Network, which, let's see if I can, it's up here. Yeah, there we go. On this channel and on this channel over here too. We had a guest bartender tonight, so it was fun. Angle should have won a Rumble too. Yes, I agree. Ever listen to Guns N' Roses while dropping the kids off at the pool? I only have the one child. I don't know if I've ever had Guns N' Roses playing when we dropped him off, but I mean, it's possible. I bought this shirt, to be perfectly honest with you guys, because of Paradise Kitty, my friends in the all-female Guns N' Roses tribute band that I've been friends with the lead singer since we were kids. So and you'll see the commercial for them momentarily when we take our next break. It's a longer commercial, so keep that in mind as you go along here. But yeah, I bought this because I never had a Guns N' Roses shirt, and their set list is pretty much the Appetite for Destruction album. So I got the Appetite t-shirt. Hot Topic, baby. Gotta love it. If I could be the referee in one wrestling match in history, which one would I pick? Right off the top of my head, either Austin Shawn Michaels, Austin Rock, WrestleMania 19, or Sting and Hogan, Starrcade. Daniel Bryan should win the Rumble 2014. I think we got a good result with him not winning, so that was okay. The Apprentice contestant Shama Amin has left the show on medical grounds. Jeff really need a friend right now. Oh, I'm sorry, Tim. I'm sorry you're sad about I don't watch Apprentice, but okay. I'm not going to put your next comment up, Tim, because it is a spoiler. I have seen Scream, and I was bummed about what happened. Friend of the show. So, yeah. I'm guessing RVD interview is very high on the list of yes. Interviewing Rob on ODQ was always a pleasure. Always a joy to have Rob on the channel. Absolutely. Thoughts on Kevin Owens re-signing with WWE? I think he should have went to AEW. He could have been a world champion over in AEW since WWE wouldn't give him a championship at all. He did when he was Universal Champion from August until January. So he was champion for a while. I think he made the decision. He even explained it. It's financial security for his family, and knowing his future set. He made the right decision for him. Psycho says better wrestler, Mark Henry or Big Show. goodness. I will say Mark Henry. Is AEW signing too many stars? Yes. Psycho, you know what I want to see? RVD and Mikey T, who was on the open mic last night, review Canvas products. Absolutely. Where is Greg Cherry? Finding it hard, bashing one out tonight without his presence. Okay. That'll be tomorrow on the Greg Cherry Show. He'll be on coming up 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific tomorrow. We'll both be ruminating over our teams being no longer a presence in the NFL postseason. So there's that. And then we'll be talking about WTC and everything else contained therein the show, as we always do. So Richard says, I was unfortunately there when Goldberg became Universal Champion. Oh, I'm so sorry, Richard. That's tragic. That really is. All right, I'm gonna take a break. Plug the kitties, like I said I would. When we come back, we'll get to more of the topics I was going to bring up. But I love the questions, guys. Keep them coming. We'll be right back.
Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Whoa, we shine a light. Yeah, they're loaded like a freight train, flying like an aeroplane, speeding like a space brain. One more time tonight. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Welcome to the jungle. I just bring you to your knees. Take me down to the paradise city where the grass is green and the girls are pretty. Oh, won't you please take me home? I wanna go. I wanna know. Oh, won't you please take me home, baby?
All right, there you go. Paradise Kitty coming up at the Whiskey a week from Thursday, as Skippy Sheffield would say. All right, where are we at here? Walter says Kevin Owens needs another run as champion. He really does. I agree. Richard says definitely we'll have to check out these badass ladies. Yes, if they're going to be in your area, they were actually touring quite a bit leading up into the Jericho cruise. They were on the Jericho cruise with us, of course. If they're in your area, go see them. They are an amazing group. And, you know, yes, we're biased because friends of the family, but it was Paradise Kitty getting booked on the Jericho cruise that got my dad to say, okay, we're going. So I love those girls for life. For more than just that, obviously, but that was a big part. I think Owens is the dark horse on winning the Rumble. I would agree with that. Thoughts on Jeff Jarrett competing in GCW? Hey, if Jeff's having fun at this stage of his life and his career, I'm for it, brother. Tim says, do you guys drink? I do drink whiskey. I actually drink, my primary whiskey is Tennessee Honey, Jack Daniels flavor. But I do have a bottle of Jack actually here I got for Christmas from my friends Josh and Catherine up in Nevada. Love those kids. Great. Love them both. And the little boy. Let's see. Here in the UK, the cannabis doesn't do much, which is disappointing. Know any good suppliers in your area? I don't. I'm not that guy. You know, I'll be a shill and promote my friend rvdcbd.com. That's the best I got. Is Orange Cassidy over or overrated? He's over. I love Cassidy. I was in the overrated category for the longest time, but I got to see the act up close. He's over like Rover, man. Have I ever had Canadian or Mexican beers? If so, which one is better? I know I had yeah, what's the beer they have in the Mexican Pavilion at Disney World?
What's that?
What is the beer they have at the Mexico Pavilion at Disney World? Dos Equis?
Probably Dos Equis, yeah.
Okay, so I've had that. That was pretty tasty. Although that was at the very end of the end of a very long day of us drinking our way around the world back 14 years ago. So anything would have been tasting good at that point. To my knowledge, I have not had Canadian beer, so I can't
Canadian, you're not Molson.
I've never had Molson. Let's see. Tennessee Honey is good. Jack is really good. I enjoy it. I really do. It's good stuff. I didn't mean to block that person. I was going to time him out, but whatever. It's an awful question anyway. NFL playoffs have gone exactly how I predicted them to go. Well, that's good because the season's gone completely batshit for me. So this has been the wackiest season in NFL history. So let's see. Where was I on the topics? Yes. So I didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown until much, much later. Well, it's the person that can hear me ask the questions is a little bit. I mean, I'll ask him. So somebody in the chat room is asking me to ask your favorite entrance theme.
Mine?
Yes.
Undertaker.
That's what I thought he'd say. That's actually his ringtone when I don't have the Christmas stuff on. When he calls or texts me, the Rest in Peace song plays, and that's his all-time favorite. So there you go. Kind of a biased question, but you asked me to ask, so I did. CL Spencer says thoughts on Chamber and Saudi. Again, I mentioned that at the top of the show too. I guess you guys are coming in later. I'm okay. I mean, clearly the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia wanted the Chamber to be there, so. I mean, if they're okay with it being there, I guess we are. I guess we're supposed to see how it plays out, right? Undertaker's the GOAT. Hard to argue with it. Who are we supposed to cheer in the Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins match if both guys are heels? Whoever you like more. My favorite Christmas song actually is the Larry Gatlin and his brothers, the Gatlin brothers, version of Silver Bells. That's my favorite. Will Saudi ever get a WrestleMania? Don't think it'll happen, but I've been wrong before. All right, so I missed SmackDown, but I get to catch up on this. Lita apparently thinks she has one more run left in her. I would love to see Lita come back and actually be a full-time presence on television. That would be amazing. And like I pointed out yesterday on the shows, she has not had a one-on-one championship WrestleMania match, which we could get her and Charlotte. That'd be great to see her do that. So I hope she comes back at least for a WrestleMania run up to WrestleMania. That'd be wonderful to see that. Let's see. Is it me or has since the draft minus Roman, SmackDown has gone downhill? I would say both shows have become very lackluster. Yes. Imagine if another billionaire created the wrestling company and hired all the people WWE fired. You know, it's funny. I got asked about this when I did the first Jeff Meacham show a couple weeks ago, that where's Wild and why haven't we brought that back and hired all the women that got released? And I said, if my business partner, I had the funds, we would start the company up right now and hire all. It was like 40 of them, maybe not 40, but a good roster amount of people were fired on the female side of things where we could have brought the company back. Absolutely. I would love if another company, darn it, stupid switch. I need to tape that down so I don't do that anymore. I'd love another company hire those people. That'd be great. I wanted Jeff Hardy to have one last run as champion. It's sad what happened to him. I hope he is okay. I don't want him to succumb to the demons. I don't need a 10 bell for him anytime soon. Get well, Jeff. Yeah, I dread adding him to the memoriam at the end of the year or a 10 bell on one of these shows. I always keep thinking he pulls the nose up and then he doesn't. So I hope that that doesn't happen as well. Lita should win the Women's Royal Rumble. That would be great. That'd be okay with me. I don't want a Forbidden Door wrestler to win. I mean, Mickey would be great, obviously. But Lita winning would at least make storyline sense now, right? If I could interview one wrestler and they had to tell the truth, what would I ask them and who would it be? Oh, geez. Okay. So we're saying wrestler. If anybody, I would. It's tough. I would. God. Let me get back to that one. I'll think about it. Segment was good. Twist of Fate was kind of bad, but looking forward to the Lita run. Don't know how long it lasts, but I'm going to enjoy it while I can. Absolutely, Richard. Absolutely, brother. So this is kind of cool to see the other night. Brody King, formerly of Ring of Honor, part of the since displaced Marty Scurll's team. Brody King now in AEW. It was cool to see him. Cool to see Lance Archer back in the company as well. Both those guys are just scary presence. They both have a scary presence. God, I'm have a drink of water. I also sounds like I got punch drunk. I'm looking forward to see what Brody does. I've liked Brody's work in Ring of Honor that I've been able to see, and I think he's got nothing but upside to him. I really do. He's a tremendous talent. Let's see what we got over here. Can I see Jeff Jarrett setting up another wrestling company? No, I think Jeff's done with owning companies, running companies. I think he's happy popping in here and there at an indie show and doing the podcast with Conrad. Ryan says, "Where do I think the Briscoes end up?" We talked about this during the sports bar this afternoon. Anywhere but the E. I mean, really, I don't see him in WWE, but anywhere else wouldn't surprise me. Brody King and Alistair are going to dominate the AEW tag team division, as they should. All right, so we talked about earlier Corey Graves allegedly being medically cleared for in-ring return. I hope it's true. I was a fan of Corey's work in NXT when I got to see him. I loved his match with Adam Pearce for the NWA Championship back in the indie days. And I know he has a passion. And that's the key to being in the ring, is having a passion, having a desire. And Corey has that in more than spades. He has it throughout his system. So let's see what we got here. Carl says, Ronda surely winning the Rumble if she comes back. If she's in the Rumble, she's winning it. And then she challenges Becky and we get the rematch we've been wanting for however long it's been now, a couple years. Walter says, surprised they still have Lita using Twist of Fate associated with the Hardys, and neither of them are in the company anymore. Yeah, but I mean, realistically, Walter, the fans aren't in theory stupid. They know that she goes back with the Hardys, so it's a natural connection whether they're there or not. I miss Brody Lee. I wish he didn't pass away and was still around. He would have been an EW champion before the end of 2022-23. Agreed. Imagine Nigel McGuinness could come back to wrestle if he was back again. Nigel's another guy who, if they cleared him, oh my God, amazing talent there. Richard, I'm a fan of Corey, and I hope he returns to the ring. But on the flip side, I don't want him to leave commentary. Raw needs him at that table. Yes, that's the bitch, right? Because he's a great color commentator / analyst, but he wants to wrestle. We all want him to wrestle, but we don't want him to leave the table. It's a very, very vicious catch-22, unfortunately. So I'm gonna bring this up real quick. Not happy about it. I got asked about it quite a bit. Miss Sitch, Sunny is in trouble with the law again. People know I'm a fan, or I was a fan of Sunny's for a long time. Tammy, I should say. She and Chris were both wonderful to me at my very first independent shows I ever went to, XPW, back in 2003. Fun to joke around with backstage in the control room. Especially Tammy, just such a playful little jokester. But her social media posts against people I genuinely had an affection for, like Ashley Mazzaro, and other people I had become friends with, just not a fan of Tammy's opinions on and the way she expresses those opinions toward people I care about. So I hope that Tammy, like Jeff Hardy, pulls the nose up and gets her shit together, but I'm not going to be surprised at her getting into legal bullshit anymore, because it's just like, oh, Tammy got arrested. Okay. The sky's blue, by the way, and the grass outside's green. Anyway, moving right along. I mean, that's really what it's come down to, unfortunately. WWE will probably put Corey Graves with Carmella, which is a mistake. Yeah, I think putting them together would be a mistake, at least on screen. Corey already puts her over as it is, so why further the issue? Richard says, it's such a shame what Tammy's life has become. I really hope she can find help and come back. Yeah, I agreed. Walter says, I'm hoping Paige gets cleared. I just don't want to see a young person's career end like that. At this point, I feel like Sunny just wants attention. It's GCH. Yeah, again. Marshall says, who is the nicest wrestler you have ever had the chance to become friends with and meet over the years? Is it Rob or is it China or is it a tie? The friend part of the answer is definitely Rob. Joni, unfortunately, I didn't get to really hang out with much past 2004. We were friends. We hung out quite a bit in the second half of 2004, and then she got arrested, and her and Sean Waltman broke up, and I remained acquainted and in talk with and in contact with Sean. And at the time, the people that were tasked with corralling Joni's life made me choose between being her friend and being Sean's friend. And I was always of the philosophy of I choose my friends. I choose who I see, not some management team or some other entity. So I made a very tough decision to let Joni go. And it is one of the few legitimate regrets I have that I didn't stay in contact with her. And it was hard to attend the memorial. But, and this is going to sound really like cheesy, but I did feel a sense of closure when I was up next to the urn that she was placed in, and I felt that she was letting me know that it was okay that I wasn't around. So yeah, anyway. But the answer to the friend's question is Rob, for sure. As far as nicest I've met over the years, Mick Foley. Easy answer is Mick Foley. He's such a nice dude. And both Rob and Mick were nice to my dad, which if you're nice to my dad, you're in like film with me, because my dad's my hero. My dad's my bud. If you're nice to my dad and you work with me in wrestling, you get the gold star. Because if you treat my dad with respect, then I know you've got respect for me, and I love that. So that's how I measure that. If you're cool with my dad, you're cool with me, because dad either likes you or dislikes you. There's no middle ground with my dad. So if you like my dad and he likes you back, you're in like Flynn, brother. Psycho says, better wrestler, X-Pac or Billy Kidman? Sean Waltman. Sean Waltman's a fantastic wrestler, and he's cleared to go again. God, let's just turn that loose in the Rumble, shall we? I've never been outside of North America other than on the cruise, this most recent Jericho cruise. That's as far east as I've been. I've been into Tijuana, and I've been as far north as, I'm trying to think geography-wise here. What's further north, Dad? Oregon, or where we went on our trip for DC and up into like Pennsylvania and stuff?
Probably Oregon, because we're at the very top part of Oregon. So
that's true. So yeah,
between us and Canada was Washington.
That's true. So yeah, I've only been as far north as the northernmost part of Oregon, and only been as far south as Tijuana. So there you go. Joni did not deserve the treatment WWE gave her. Vince Russo's podcast with China made my heart break. Yeah, it again, I found it so hard to not find myself not condemning the company for how Joni was treated in later years. But again, I wasn't there for that, so it's not my place. And as her friend at the time, it was very hard to just be like, oh, so difficult. How would I change WWE's women's division? Who are you pushing, or how? That's a whole other show in and of itself, Walter. So I appreciate that. But yeah. When I was in DC, did I visit the White House, Capitol Hill, Washington Monument, and all the museums? Yes, I did. We went to the White House. We actually got to go inside the White House. That was during George W. Bush's second term. He was not there, but we did see him returning to DC in the helicopter, Marine One, as we were leaving to go to the airport to go home. We did go to the Capitol Hill. We actually got to sit in briefly on a session of Congress, which was so cool as a history buff, as a history major in school at the time I was. We did go to the Washington Monument. I actually have pictures that are on Facebook right now. I gotta go through everything again. Pictures looking out of the viewpoint of the Washington Monument at the White House, at the memorials, everything. We went to the Holocaust Museum, which was very sobering. We went to Gettysburg. We actually went to the battlefield site, which was very, very surreal. Just I mean, I get the goosies now thinking about it. It's very, very sobering to be a place like that. Yeah, we were there for a week. It was really cool to see all the stuff we saw. But yeah, we got to go inside the White House and Congress. That was probably the neatest part. Richard says you can't say you don't want her in the Hall of Fame, but have people like Mike Tyson, Jimmy Snuka, and Donald Trump in it. Plus, so many of their women wrestlers pose nude for. Again, hang on, CL. Again, the whole thing with Joni, it's just such a bad area of discussion, unfortunately. Who would I rather meet, George Washington or Abraham Lincoln? Lincoln. No doubt about it for me. Abraham Lincoln. Okay, CL. Let me see here. I actually didn't click on. If I clicked, I didn't mean to. Thoughts on Sonya as an authority figure, a young Stephanie McMahon in the making, maybe. I've liked her as an authority figure until recently. I think the thing with Naomi's a little bit too much. If the payoff match doesn't happen, then it's completely useless. But I definitely see them tying it up at WrestleMania. Maybe Sonya costs Naomi her Rumble win, and then we get to the Mania, which is what I would do as the payoff, personally. All right, let's see here. I think that was it on topics. Oh, yeah. Yep, that's it. And we're over an hour. God, that is a quick hour. Holy moly. All right, I'm gonna go through plugs. If you guys want me to answer any more questions, feel free to super chat. I'll answer anything I get super chat sent at me, or on Aaron's site or on Greg's site. JD doesn't have super chat yet, but go ahead and super chat if you want me to answer a question. Again, tomorrow on the Greg Cherry brand side of things, as well as here on the Jeff Meacham Network, you will see the Greg Cherry Show. We'll talk about the eliminations of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. May their seasons rest in peace. Good grief. We'll spin the wheel if you super chat. We'll do a Q&A. We'll talk about Thursday's WTC matchup and mucho more coming up on Talk Forever. Yeah, I'm getting I need some more water for into that. I'll probably do another extended commercial break if we're going to keep going, which is fine. I don't mind keeping going. Thursday after WTC on the Greg Cherry brand, you can come back to the Jeff Meacham Network side of things. Our buddy Adam Contras, who is our resident DeLorean time machine owner, will be back on the podcast for, I believe it's his 4th appearance overall, 3rd in an interview format, to talk about Official Journey Volume 1, his newest movie. He'll talk about his blog, which is actually the first video blog in history. He's in the Guinness Book of World Records for that. We'll talk about that as well and where he's going in the future. So there's that. Friday, of course, is Dad's. It's in the editing bay right now. The top 10 Jim Carrey movies of all time. That's coming up Friday. So there we go. All right, let's see what we got over here in the chat room. Who should be in the Hall of Fame that's not? That's a whole show in and of itself, Eunice. Tell you that right now. Carl, who do I think was the most educated wrestler about the rest? Who do you think the most educated wrestler about the wrestling business is? Wow. God, I would need to, again, I guess I'm not educated enough to answer that question because I maybe narrow that down for me, make it plainer. Would I rather meet Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman from the comic books? Probably Superman, because he's not from this planet, and it'd be cool to meet somebody that is extraterrestrial. That'd be kind of cool, right? Would Austin Theory, Damian Priest be a good match, U.S. title match? Yes, it would. Have I been to Ground Zero? I have not been to Ground Zero yet. So let me think here. Never. I've never been to New York. Want to. Really bad. I want to go to the Garden. I want to see a WWE show at the Garden. I want to see a hockey game at the Garden. And I want to go to Ground Zero and just to see how I went. It's been 20 years now since that happened, which is again one of those mind-boggling things to me. But yeah. Richard says the Mask and Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Again, they're probably going to be on both our lists with JJ and I, knowing us. So there you go. All right, kids. Thank you all very much again. I really appreciate it. Oh, there's a super sticker from Carl for two 2.5 pounds. Thank you very much. Or maybe I don't know if it's a euro, but thank you, Carl. Appreciate it. I've been to Ground Zero. It's got to be sobering to be in that space. It's just a whole other world in your head, right? It had to be. All right, kids. Thank you all very much. Really appreciate everybody being here today. Again, come back tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and then Monday we start all over again. It's Rebel Week next week. Woo woo. We'll see you back here after NXT. I don't know what Aaron's got planned on the ODQ side of things, but coming up after NXT on the Great Cherry brand, Jeff Meacham Network, and the Custody Studios, we will have next week's episode of Talk Wrestling. So thank you all very, very much. Have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Greg Cherry Show and so much more this week. Good night.